Hello everyone, welcome to Use Generative and Predictive AI with Data Cloud. My name is Danielle Larigi and I am a Senior Developer Advocate working for Salesforce. Feel free to connect with me on either Twitter or LinkedIn. I have my handle up there. And I'm sure you have all already seen this 1,000 times since you've been at Dreamforce. Salesforce is a publicly traded company, so please make all of your purchasing decisions based off of what is available in the system today and not based off of what I say might be coming to the system in the future. And I know there's a lot of other competing sessions. There is even a whole abundance of celebrities here at Dreamforce, so I'm really appreciative that you decided to take some time out of your busy Dreamforce schedules to come to this session. I will say that over here, I have 3 goodie bags. So you will really want to pay attention to the presentation because at the end of this session, I'm going to ask 3 questions, and in these bags, in each one of these 3 bags, is a free certification voucher for any Salesforce exam that you want to take. So I'm going to the first hands that I see up. I'm going to choose that person, and then if you get the question right, you will be able to take home a free exam voucher, which is worth, at minimum, like a couple $100. And there's also some other goodies in the bag as well. So if you stay to the end, get a chance to win one of these. A little bit about myself. I live in Dallas, Texas. Anybody here from Texas? Oh, hello, Texans, hello. I'm originally from Delaware, but I've been living in Texas for like the last 7 years between Dallas and Houston. Always love coming out to San Francisco. A lot of great restaurants here. I have a dog, I have a cat, live with my partner, and I love barbecue. I love video games. Any video game players here? People do video games? Big video game player. Right now I've been really into Valorant. It's one of my favorite games, even though I'm miserably bad at it. But those are some of the things that I like to do in my free time. All right, so let's get into the presentation. So as you all have heard, there's this big wave going on and on about data, right? And if you think about data, everything that you're touching is generating data, right? Your iPhones, your mobile devices, any websites you're going to, all of these things are generating all types of data. And then if you think about the big buzzword, artificial intelligence and AI, right? Artificial intelligence is working off of all of that data that is currently being generated, but all of these different mobile devices that you're using, these applications that you're using, as well as all of these websites that you're visiting. So all of this data has to be stored somewhere, right? So this data is going into different systems like AWS. Anyone in here using AWS to store their data? A lot of AWS users. What about Google Cloud? Anybody using Google Cloud? All right, some Google Cloud customers. And then there's a newbie that's come on the scene called Snowflake. Anyone using Snowflake? All right, hello Snowflake people. So all this data is being stored in all these different data warehouses, but for a long time, all of these data has been sitting in silos in these different warehouses, right? And it was kind of a little bit hard to get, each of these platforms to start talking to each other, mobile apps, websites. You had to spend like 6 months to a year on an integration project, cry a little bit, work some nights, work some weekends, some early mornings, get on a ton of calls. And then even once you got those systems connected, when the data came in, it looked a little bit different, right? The data was like, that wasn't really what I was expecting. So now what we've created is this solution here at Salesforce called Data Cloud, right? And Data Cloud has a lot of pre-built out-of-the-box connectors that allows you to connect many of these source systems and disconnected, disparate systems using mostly configuration. So we have all types of connectors. I'll show you the connectors when we get into the live demo, but we have all types of connectors, a lot of them to our core Salesforce platform, to Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Marketing Cloud, Commerce Cloud, but also to a lot of these other systems like Snowflake, like S3, Redshift, Google Cloud Storage, BigQuery, Azure, Snowflake, et cetera, et cetera. So all of this can be done within only a few minutes. So you just have to do a little bit of authentication, and then you just select your objects or your schemas, and then that data comes over into Data Cloud, or that data is shared virtually via zero copy, okay? Now, after all that data is connected, then it all is stored into Data Cloud's proprietary data lake. So Data Cloud is built on top of AWS. So it's on top of a Hyperforce. So it has an AWS layer at the back end. And then it has a Lightning UI or Lightning front end, okay? Sorry, I'm just gonna adjust this so you guys aren't constantly hearing that thud. All right. And all of this data gets harmonized into Data Cloud's data lake, and it's stored in something called data lake objects and data model objects. So data lake objects are the initial tables or containers that it's copying over the data to initially. So you think about it. You create your connection between Data Cloud and your source system, like a Redshift, like a BigQuery, like a Google Cloud Storage, and then all of that data just first gets copied over into initial containers or tables called data lake objects. Then what you have to do is you have to map that data to a data model in Data Cloud, something that Data Cloud can understand. So who here uses Salesforce? All right, everyone. All right, so if you're a current customer here today using Salesforce, then you're probably already familiar with Salesforce standard and custom objects, right? So your Salesforce standard objects, that's your accounts, that's your contacts, your leads, your opportunities, right? And then the custom objects are whatever you create to hold your business use case, right? Well, think of data models like that as well. So in Data Cloud, we have a new object structure, and it's called data model objects. And there's a few standard objects that are out of the box that look just like a Salesforce standard object, right? It's got fields, and it's got some standard fields and things and standard objects. And then it also has the ability to create custom objects, right? That's gonna fit whatever business use case for the data that you're trying to bring in from your external system. Make sense? All right. So after all that data is stored in the data lake and those standard data lake objects and those custom data model objects, then what you can do is you can start using that data to power things. So you can start building Tableau analytics on top of the data. You can use this data in AI models, which is what I'm going to show you how to do today. You can use it in generative as well as regression, AI models, and you can also use that data for all other types of things as well, like segmentations, to do email messages, mobile messaging. The opportunities are really limitless. All right. So speaking of AI, we're in this AI revolution, and you guys are probably thinking, oh my gosh, I've heard this 1,001 times. Where this is going to differ is I'm actually going to show you how, all right, this is going to drive me a little bit crazy, sorry. All right, I'm going to actually show you how we actually use the data in Data Cloud in the AI models today. All right, so we first have one type of AI model called predictive AI. So if you think about what you're doing every single day, you're always making predictions. What is one of the first things that you're thinking about in the morning when you wake up? What is the weather like so I can figure out how to dress, right? Is it gonna be cold? Is it going to be rainy? That's a prediction, right? And then how many people here have started playing with generative AI? Like you've built some AI images with DALL-E or something like that, okay. And how many people have used ChatGPT to type in some questions and get some answers? I admit that I might have written a few people's LinkedIn recommendations using ChatGPT. Like, ChatGPT, please help me do this LinkedIn recommendation. So we're all using all types of predictive AIs and generative AIs to do all types of cool things. And then how many people use autonomous agents like Alexa or Siri or Google Home? So I will tell you, when I moved into my house 3 years ago, my partner, he wired everything with Google Home. And I still wanted to like hit the light switch for the fans and to use all the lights. And he was like, no, don't hit the switches, use your voice. And now when I walk into a room, like I was in my hotel room the other day and I was laying in the bed and I was like, hey Google, and I was like, oh shoot, I can't do that here. I have to actually get up and physically turn off the light. But that's where we're growing, right? We're going to the place where we are using all these autonomous agents to use all these things and help us do all these things without like having to get out of your bed to turn off a ceiling fan or turn off a light. And I know you remember back in the olden days where like the thing then was using a clapper. You could like, that was the new thing. You could clap your hands and the light would turn off, and like you would never think that you could just use your voice to turn off the light or turn off the ceiling fan. And then we had this other wave, which is artificial general intelligence, which is something that I'm really looking forward to because I really hate doing dishes and things like that. So I'm hoping that we're gonna come up with a robot that can help me get some of the housework done while I'm on the road speaking or doing some other types of things. But that's what they're predicting that we're going to go to for artificial general intelligence. So I once did a talk where I just completely just started going on and on about LLMs, and I never actually explained what LLMs was. And at the end, the person came up to me, he said, can you tell me what an LLM is? So I made sure I put it in here today. So what are LLMs? So if you think about those voice agents that I was referring to, Alexa, Hey Google, Siri, all of those have a natural language processor at the back end, which is an artificial intelligence model called a large language model. So those are your Geminis, those are your Claudes, those are your ChatGPTs. All of those are considered large language models. So they're a type of artificial intelligence model that can process natural language and that can also spit you out answers in natural language as well. So they can do all types of logical and reasoning and processing and things like that. And so what can they be used for? So I'm going to show you today how we can use them in Salesforce to generate text. You can use them to write summaries for different types of contents, record summaries. And you can also use them for conversational agents like, AI chatbots or some type of like live agent bots. And then what are predictive models? So predictive models allow you to create forecasts. So it's a little bit of going back to those things I was talking about, like what is the weather going to be like today? But in the use case of business, you can use them to predict all types of things for your business, like will I close this deal? Or what are the chances that I might close this deal? What are the chances that I might win this account? What are the chances that this person might open this email? And so here's a whole list of different things that you can predict for sales, for service, finance, HR, operations, marketing, all different types of use cases. So again, like will this lead convert? What is the probability of this lead converting? Will this case likely escalate? What's the estimated resolution time for this case? So you can feed in all types of data into these regression models and then spit out all types of predictions and probabilities of what will happen next. Because that's what we're always trying to figure out, right? What is going to happen next? Will this deal close? And so along with the generative and the predictive AI, we actually released all types of products over the last few years to kind of just go along with this new wave. So who here has worked with Prompt Builder? Okay, a lot of people in the room have worked with Prompt Builder. All right, so Prompt Builder is one of our new tools which allows you to do all types of generation of text for records. And anyone hate like writing in text for a record? Like you see the long description field on a record and you're just like, I really don't want to fill this out. Anyone? Okay, and I'm sure you've gone to a lot of records in Salesforce where you pulled up and somebody just like put something like just any type of text in there. Well, Prompt Builder can generate text for you. I'm gonna show you how Prompt Builder can do that so that you can just literally click a button and it's the laziest thing that you could ever get away with. It will generate the text for you, and I'm gonna show you that today. And then Agentforce is like an assistant. So think again like the Siris, like the Alexas, like the Hey Googles. So Agentforce is really that assistant. And I couldn't fit Agentforce into this demo because I only had 40 minutes, but Agentforce is the assistant that can go get records for you. You can ask it questions, it can update records, it can do all sorts of things for you. And then we have this new tool which is bound to Data Cloud, which is called Model Builder. So that's the reason why we talked about Data Cloud in the beginning, is because Model Builder is attached to Data Cloud. So who's used Model Builder? All right, we've got a couple of people. All right, so you guys are actually, a lot of you are gonna see what Model Builder can do today. So Model Builder can connect to AI models that are built in other systems like SageMaker, like Vertex, like Databricks. So it can pull in those regression models and allow you to make predictions with your data stored in Data Cloud. But it also allows you to bring in large language models for some of those connected systems as well. So you can bring in Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Yeah. All right. So Prompt Builder, again, is all about generating that text. So generating prompts for records and emails as well. You can generate text for emails. And then we have Model Builder, which allows you, again, to bring in models from different platforms like SageMaker, Vertex AI, Databricks, but there's also a no-code, low-code model builder as well, which allows you to build your own AI model on platform and train that AI model with your data stored in Data Cloud, and then it spits out predictions as well, okay? And all of this is GA. Forget that February 24th thing. It's all GA today. Sorry about that. And also for Prompt Builder, everything is GA now as well. All right. And then we also have the ability to bring your own large language model as well. So you can bring in a large language model, I was saying, from OpenAI, Azure OpenAI, Google Vertex AI, as well as Amazon Bedrock. All right. Here, I'll let you guys get some more photos. And I will be posting this to the portal, so you will all be able to download these slides as well. All right, that is the end of the introductory slides. Yay. We want to see the demo. Yeah, all right. So here we are in Salesforce. And the way that you access Data Cloud is it's just an app like any of your other apps. So if you see here, I have my sales app. I have my service app, and then I have my Data Cloud app. So I'm just going to click here into Data Cloud. And I have the ability to make connections to all different types of source systems. So I'm just going to get off track right now and go to Data Cloud Setup. So I click this gear icon, and then I click Data Cloud Setup. And then I can go here to connectors. Did they change the setup on me? I think they did change the setup to other connectors. And then I can click New. And I'm going to show you. These are all of the connectors that exist today or that are currently in beta. So all of these connectors can make connections to these different source systems using just configuration. All right. So we have all types of connectors in here for Adobe, Airtable, Asana, Azure, Databricks, Google Ads, Google Sheets, all of these, Jira. There's all of these types of connectors that allows you to pull in data into the Data Cloud platform, Workday even. And all of these just use configuration, and the majority of them, I've done a good amount of them, and the majority of them can be done in like 15 minutes or less. So really, really powerful. They all have different types of authentication mechanisms that are built in to make the connection secure. And that's how you come to create the connection. So I'll just click into one just as an example. So I'm just going to click into this BigQuery one. So here you just put in some of the authentication details, then you click test connection, and that makes the connection between Data Cloud and BigQuery or whatever source system. All right? So after you create your connection between Data Cloud and your source system, the way that you get data into Data Cloud is something called data streams, right? So you'll go to your data streams tab, and then you'll click the new button, right? And then as you start to create those connections to each one of those systems, the Workdays, the Airtables, the Herokus, the Azure, a tile will pop in here. And then what will happen is you'll be able to click the tile, click next, and then you'll just be able to see the objects that are in that system, all right? And then you'll follow a flow to get the data into Data Cloud, all right? So you'll be able to select your objects. I think we're already probably ingesting account here. So let me just choose a different object. Let's try case. I don't think we're just a case. So I would click next, and then it would show me the fields, and then I would go through the flow, and then it would ingest the records from this object. So it's that simple. It's all configuration. So those of you that just raised your hand and smiled at me, that you guys were like on integration projects for like 6 months to a year, working those nights, working those weekends, on those early morning calls where everybody was frustrated, this is going to make it a lot easier for you, all right? Using these out-of-the-box pre-built connectors. And a lot of these are based off of the MuleSoft connectors, but made just a little bit simpler, okay? So after that data gets in, so we have our current, so what we have right here is our fictitious resort is called Coral Cloud Resort. And what they have is they have some data stored in Amazon S3 using the S3 connector, and they're ingesting some reservation data, right? So I'm gonna click into this reservation data stream. So we already created this, pre-created this reservation data stream. So after you go through that flow of that data stream, the first thing that's going to get created is called a data lake object. Now the data lake object is just a table, right? So all the data just gets copied and mapped over to this initial table, and all of the data is captured and held in this table, right? You don't do anything with this table other than copy over the data to this table. Now, after that data is copied over into all these fields, you can see all the fields and field values. What you have to do is you have to map this data to those data model objects. So remember, those data model objects are the canonical data model of Data Cloud. So in Salesforce, you have Salesforce standard objects and custom objects. Remember, I told you in Data Cloud, you have standard and custom data model objects. And the way that you map it is really easy. You just click from node to node. So on the left is our data lake object right here, and on the right are our data model object, that we're mapping to in Data Cloud, okay? Now, in some cases, right now, it's just a one-to-one mapping, but in some cases, you might have one data lake object mapped to many different data model objects. But in this scenario, it's just one data lake object mapped to one data model object, but you do have the ability to map one data lake object to multiple data model objects, okay? Now, data model object is really what you're going to work with in Data Cloud. So what can you do after you've mapped that data lake object to the data model object? Well, you can use a little something here called Einstein Studio, okay? And Einstein Studio is where you're gonna build those regression statistical models, and this is where you're going to use your data in that data model object to train those AI regression models. So remember, we have two types of AI. We have predictive AI, which is used mostly with regression models to make predictions using numeric numbers, right? And then we have generative AI, which can generate things, which is mostly connected to large language models. So we have two different types. So right now we're talking about the predictive side. So taking some set of data stored in a data lake object, stored in a data model object, using it to train a model, and then using it to output some type of prediction, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Add a Predictive Model. And we have a few options here. Don't forget, pay attention, because I'm asking questions about this at the end. So create a model from scratch. And then you also have the ability to create a model in SageMaker. Anyone create any models in SageMaker? Any data scientists in here? All right, got one at the back, one over here. And then you can also connect a model from Google Vertex AI. Anyone use Vertex AI? Okay, no one yet. Okay, and then Databricks. So what you can do, so with predictive models, you first need to create a training data set, right? And then you need to use that data set to train your AI model. So you can actually connect to SageMaker, Vertex, and Databricks through Data Cloud, and then use your Data Cloud data to train those AI models that are hosted on one of those platforms, and you can output the prediction back into Data Cloud, okay? I have some YouTube videos out there on how to do that. See me after this if you want to know where they are. I also have a few blogs written on this. So what we're going to focus on mostly is creating the model from scratch. So let's click Create the Model from Scratch, and then click Next. So it's asking us here what data will we like to use to train the AI model that we're going to build right now, okay? So here's all my data model objects that are currently in the system. I'm going to choose my reservation data model object, so the data that came in from Amazon S3. All right, so I have my reservation data in Amazon S3. I use that connector to bring that data in. I mapped it from a data lake object to a data model object. And now I want to use that data that's stored in my data model object to train my AI model that I'm going to build right now. So I'm using reservation. I'm clicking Next. And it says, select the training data. Do you want to use all the records to train the AI model, or do you want to use a filtered set of records to train the AI model? I'm going to say that I want to use all the records. And then it says set a goal. What I want to do is I want to minimize, so I'm going to choose reservation status. And I have two statuses, not canceled or canceled, but I want to predict whether or not someone is going to cancel their reservation using this data. So I want to minimize my reservation statuses. That's my goal. I want to have as few canceled reservations as possible. And then canceled, so minimize, canceled. And then it says prepare your variables. So you have the ability to select
to manually select which variables you want to use to train the AI model, or you can say, you know what, Autopilot, you're the expert. I'm going to let you choose the variables to train my regression model to spit out my reservation, the most accurate reservation cancellation predictions. So I think Autopilot knows more than me, so I'm going to let Autopilot choose. And then it says select an algorithm. So right now, there's only 3 algorithms. They're working on adding more. So there's XGBoost, GLM, and GBM. XGBoost is a very flexible algorithm that's used a lot by data scientists to do predictions. So right now, there's only 3, but you do have the ability to say, you know what I want you to do is I want you to look at my data, look at the variables, and then you choose the algorithm that you think best fits my use case. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to let it choose the algorithm. And then afterwards, you can click Save, and it's going to train the model, right? So just to recap, just in case I lost anyone, what we did was we took the data from our data model object in our reservation. We let the Autopilot choose the variables that we want to train our model with, then we let it also choose the model that we want to use. And now what it's going to do is it's going to save, run, and train a prediction model for us to be able to use to predict cancellations of new reservations. All right? Now we already have a model up and running. So here is our reservation cancellation predictive model that we already ran. So it chose XGBoost as the algorithm. That was the best algorithm that it saw. And then it used a few data rows. Oh no, am I just having one of those demo days today? It's just getting good though. All right, we'll give it a second. All right, so I'll just keep talking while we're working through it. So it chose our algorithm, our XGBoost as the algorithm, right? And so now what we have is a trained model. So when it comes to regression models, you always have to choose a training data set and then choose and use that training data set to train the model. Otherwise, how does the model know if it's what to make a prediction off of, right? It needs some type of training data set to train the model, and then you can use that model that's fully trained to make the prediction, right? So, it's not a good, All right, so I'll keep talking through it. So the next thing that we can do is we can also use our training data, remember, to pull in data from SageMaker or Vertex AI, and we can also do the same sort of thing. So we'd follow the same steps. We could use our training data that's stored in our data model object to train a model that's hosted on the SageMaker or Vertex AI platform, and it'll connect back, and then it'll spit out the predictions into Data Cloud. It blinked. Yeah, I saw it blink. All right, yay, cheer. That's fine. That's fine. Thank you so much. All right, so now what we can do, the way that we can see these predictions, so all these predictions that are coming out of this model get spit out to a data model object. But first, before we go that, I want to show you the training metrics. Okay. Now here's the thing. It's been a long time since a lot of us have done 8th grade math or high school math. Who here took a statistics course? All right, a lot of hands went up. Usually when I ask this question, not a lot of hands go up, all right? So remember that mean, median, mode, all types of, things, analysis, your little distribution curve and quartiles and things like that? Well, you need all that now. So You're gonna have to maybe go out and buy a book so that you can figure out how to decipher some of these things. But basically, these are all the statistics that are telling you whether your model is a good model. Because you can create a bad AI model. You can get bad predictions, right? So don't think you could just choose your data, feed the model the data, and then you're always going to get good predictions. That's just not how regression models work. So here is all of the things to tell you whether your model is a good model or not. Now, one of the things I will tell you is that we did try our best to put the longest tooltips in here that we possibly could to explain what each one of these things are. So what is the F1 score, the accuracy, but there's all types of things in here. So it tells you what your top predictors are for each of your variables. It tells you the outcome of your variable distribution. There's a confusion matrix here. No, this isn't just to confuse you. This is actually a statistical thing that tells you how accurate your model is in terms of what are true positives, what are false positives. And we even have a couple of distribution curves here as well to tell you how accurate your model is and how accurate it's predicting. But in order to, figure out whether this is actually, doing well or not, you might need to go buy that statistics book at Barnes & Noble before you start this up. Or you might need to, buy that Xbox game or PlayStation game for your 8th grader, your 9th grader, and say, hey, sit down and help me with this since you're still in math right now. All right, so all of this you can do, and then you can see the predictions very easily right here in our new query editor. So query editor allows you to see any data that's stored in any one of those data lake objects or data model objects. So you can write whatever query that you want, and then you can run the query. And here we can see, here's our reservation ID, the check-in date, the room type, the cost, and what the risk of cancellation is. So we joined that the prediction model outputs with some of the reservations after we ran it, and then we can see the risk right here of them being canceled. So that's all coming from our AI model data. It's really cool, right? And coming soon is a natural language processor here in this query editor. So you will pretty soon be able to put in natural language into the query. So say, give me reservations joined with this, and I need to see these fields, and it will output the SQL for you, so you won't even have to write the SQL anymore. So they're working on that right now, and that's coming out very, very soon. All right, so that's the predictive side. Now let's move over to the generative side, right? So we have this other part of Einstein Studio which allows you to add a large language model, so add a foundation model. So you can pull in a large language models from Azure OpenAI or Google Vertex AI like Gemini. Anyone heard? There was a big thing about Gemini a little while ago. So you can pull in Gemini models as well as models from Bedrock as well, like Claude. So here, I'm gonna go back, and you can see right now, these are all the models. I'll zoom in. So right now, if you don't want to go through the hassle of pulling in a model from one of those platforms, we already have some models, some large language models, pre-built into the platform. So these are pre-built. You don't have to pull these in. So we already have GPT-4 by Omni. We already have a few Azure OpenAI models. We already have Anthropic Claude. And we already have a few OpenAI models, which are the same OpenAI models that powered ChatGPT. So those are already built into the platform. You don't have to go through the hassle of trying to pull those models in, okay? So what can we do with these models? What can we do with them? After I zoom back out, 1 second. A little bit harder when you're holding the handheld to there we go. All right, so what can we do with these models? So what we can do is we can use them in a little tool called Prompt Builder. So I'm gonna go here to setup, and then I'm going to type in prompt. How many people are those avid ChatGPT users? That's me. So what we can do is we can create all types of prompt templates to generate text for fields, generate record summaries, and even generate text for emails, all right? So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna look at some ones that I already pre-built. So generate an experience description too. So what I created here was a prompt. I'm just gonna zoom in so you can all see. So you are a marketer at organization name. The resort provides experiences guests can book throughout the day. Write a marketing description for the experience below. Make it sound unique and exciting. Highlight the benefits of the experience. And the description should be between 80 and 100 words. So I'm telling Prompt Builder what I want it to generate for this particular text field, right? And then it can even use details from records. So here I'm using some merge fields from a data model object right in here, or a Salesforce object right in here. So it can even use records from Salesforce fields as well in the prompt template, all right? Now, we also have the ability to select a record here and see what type of text is going to pre-generate for us. So I'm going to choose this, and then I'm going to choose, I'm going to keep it on Anthropic Claude 3 and click Preview. So here it says in the response is Aqua Fitness in Paradise at Coral Cloud Resort is a rejuvenating workout experience unlike any other. Immerse yourself in this serene resort pool as you engage in a medium intensity aquatic exercise. Now, that's pretty cool. It's gonna preview the text for me, right? And then I could also compare that with OpenAI GPT. So let me click here, save and preview. And it's going to regenerate this text right here for me. Now it's immerse in Aqua Fitness in Paradise, a distinctive fitness experience at Coral Cloud Resort. Set in our resort pool, this medium level exercise session is designed to invigorate your body and mind. So all of these things it can generate. So you can go here and create all types of prompts that you want to use for all types of fields. So after you choose the model that's giving you, the text that you mostly want, what you then do is you bind it to a field. So I'm gonna go here I'm gonna go home, and then I'm gonna pull up my Aqua Fitness in Paradise record. Now I've already binded this to the field. So what I see is now this little pencil icon right here on the description field. So you see here, right now, this is the description that our AE put in there. Our AE, he wants to be selling things. He doesn't want to be sitting here writing long descriptions, right? So what we have the ability to do is click what we now have is this little star icon. And it's going to analyze our request. So it knows that we want to generate some type of text for this description field, right? And now it's showing me, so back there was the builder, right? Now I'm in the front end, I'm an end user using this tool, I'm an agent, I don't want to write all this text, I'd rather be out there selling, or rather be out there doing other things. And it generates the text for us, right? So it says, here's what I came up with. Experience the unique blend of fitness and leisure with our Aqua Fitness in Paradise. I can tell it to do all types of things. So I could say, make it shorter. And it's going to analyze my request, and it's going to put me out something shorter. You can do all types of things here. You could say, make it fun, make it exciting, make it more comical, make it, you can do all types of things, and it'll keep regenerating the text here for you to try to make it to the sentiment that you want the text to be. And then you just click use, and it puts it right there in my field for me to use. Very easy. So now if you see someone that just put in some lorem ipsum, you can be like, listen, all you had to do was click this button. It's going to generate the text for you. And then just click use. And it puts it right there and saves the button. So now don't let them get away with those types of things anymore. All right. So that's one of the powers. One of the other powerful things you can do is you can also use it to generate email message text. So I'm going to go here to activity, and then I'm going to choose email. And I'm going to click this button here, Draft with Einstein. And I'm going to select my welcome email text here. Sorry. And it's going to create a text for this email. And it's working, it's finishing up, and then there we go. A whole email message generated that I could use to send out. All right, so there's all types of prompts, and that email template was just built off of one of the templates that I have created back here. So let me go back to our setup. Sorry about that. Sorry about that click around for a second. The technical difficulties, I lost a little bit of minutes off the demo, but that's completely okay. So we have this welcome email template right here. All that's getting generated by this prompt right here that I created, which is your name is sender name, you work in the guest success team at organization name, a luxury beachfront resort, generate an email welcoming the guests for their upcoming stay. And I'm putting in some information about it, and then I say, go generate me an email. So those are some of the new cool tools that are on the platform that are low code. You can now do predictive models using your data and train and output predictions, and then you can also generate text as well for things like fields on records as well as email messages on the system. All right, so a few things to close with right before I do the giveaway. So first of all, I want to just say once again, thank you for coming to this session and taking time out of your day for this session.